Class is in session. College basketball hitting the book show Tuesday, January 13th. Ian Cameron, Connor Mack, ready to break it all down in college basketball for this Tuesday night. As always, we will begin with the starting five marquee matchups on the card. We'll break 5 games down individually, and then we'll just tell you all the bets we like in the other games. And then we'll wrap it up with best bets. So we'll get into it. We'll begin the starting five with a pretty good one here. Texas A&M and Tennessee in the SEC. Tennessee, 10-point home favorites, 161 being the total in this game. You've got Tennessee coming off a beatdown at the hands of Florida, 91-67 in their last game. So an ugly result for the Volunteers. Now they'll be back home looking to bounce back, where they did win their last home game by double digits, winning by 14 against Texas. A&M, meanwhile, what a great job. Bucky Ball, the former Samford head coach, bringing that style to A&M. They've won 6 in a row, 3-0 to start SEC play, wins against LSU. How about the win at Auburn? Unbelievably impressive. And then they come back home and they win and cover. No letdown. They beat Oklahoma and they cover in that game. I'm very impressed with A&M. Obviously, this is a team that's going to shoot a lot of threes. They shoot 30.4 3-point attempts per game. They're doing a pretty good job there, 37.4% from 3-point range. Tennessee's been defending the three pretty well, 29.1% perimeter defense here for Tennessee. So that's going to be the challenge here, but I'm reluctant to lay this many with A&M. They have taken on all comers. I know it's a get-right spot for the Vols after getting just annihilated by Florida. I just don't know if I want to lay this many points. I like what I'm seeing out of A&M, and so I kind of lean to the Aggies here. I think this could be an over. Tennessee's been scoring, but they're not playing the same Rick Barnes defense that we've seen in the past. They're giving up points. I mean, it's been surprising to see just how rough they've been in certain games defensively. 81 allowed to Kansas, 86 to Arkansas, 91 to Florida in that game on Saturday. Even in the win against Texas at home, there was 156 points scored in that game, and it went over the total, 85-71. A&M's going to play fast, shoot a lot of threes, so I kind of lean dog and over, even though in theory you could say this is a Tennessee spot. I just don't know if I want to lay this many points. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I know. This is like tempting. I think that, it opens 8.5. It's a total Tennessee spot, and people are all over A&M. From what I'm seeing here, even the tickets and the money, and it just going the other way. You talked about the shooting has been pretty good for A&M, and this Tennessee team is just still going through it a little bit. I think, especially talking about it on defense, they've just been so good at home over the years, and this seems like a good spot. But I'm tempted with A&M, but I'm off. I just have to stay out this game in the end. I think this could be the 14-point win, or maybe, I don't know, 8. Who knows? Something like that. We'll see A&M. They can, go in a place like this and play well. That always checks it off. Even games we don't bet, we talk about this all the time. That you take this info in, look at everything that goes on, down the line.
All right, Big East action. UConn Seton Hall. UConn 6.5-point road favorites, 132.5 the total. I'm on the Hall here, plus 6.5 home dog. I think this crew has really been a tough matchup for Dan Hurley and his UConn squad. You know that Seton Hall's beaten them 4 straight times in this venue? New Jersey's been a house of horrors here, Seton Hall's home gym for UConn. They have had real problems here. How about Seton Hall being 4-0 straight up, 3-1 against the spread the last 4 times that they have faced UConn? And I wouldn't be surprised if they give UConn a game. UConn's not playing all that great. Some games they can't shoot straight. Some games they don't defend well enough. Like, they haven't really been jiving at both ends of the court in the same game. And that's got to be frustrating. One game they look all right offensively. One game they don't. One game they look all right defensively. One game they don't. The Marquette game was pretty ugly, even though they survived it. DePaul, they kind of went through the motions, won by 12. Like I said, I just think Seton Hall's played with a toughness, a physicality, a slow-down style, grinded-out style that Seton Hall plays with. It has given UConn some problems, and especially here, in this venue on Seton Hall's home court. this has been a problem spot, a place to play for the Huskies. And Huskies teams that have been as good or better, quite honestly, than this year's UConn team, which I don't think is the absolute best UConn team that Dan Hurley's had. So I think Seton Hall's very live here, and I'll gladly take plus 6.5 with them here. C-Mac, what do you think?
For sure, Colorado Bull. We'll get to those games at the end. My guy, we'll talk about them a little bit. And anyone else, you got questions on games, we'll try to hit them at the end. Yeah, I just see value here. I got a 7 even here at Circa. I had to take Seton Hall. This has been a tough place to play. They've been money as a dog. And I just think as good as UConn is on the road and defensively, and they could go in there and win by 10 points, it shows with this total how low it is, I think, that this is going to be a grind a little bit, 60s, maybe it gets into the 70s. And Seton Hall have been really, really good at home. And why I like it, where I see such value in a home dog, is the defense. As good as UConn is defensively, that's what I want to see in Seton Hall. They're just gritty and tough. I think they keep this game close. I'm on them.
All right, both of us liking the Hall. All right, next up, we've got Florida, Oklahoma. Florida, 7-point road favorites, 157.5 the total. I'm putting up the stop sign here. All I've seen all day, and I'm watching this line move all day, the money's just rolling in on Florida, like they're just going to come in here and win big against Oklahoma. And they're coming off a very satisfying, they really couldn't play much better either. Blowout win at home against Tennessee. And certainly when the Gators play well, and we know that early in the year, the issue was replacing Walter Clayton Jr., replacing Elijah Martin, replacing all those great players in the backcourt, and the guard position was really the weakness. And they're starting to get better guard play. I get that. And the front court we know is excellent. That's always been the strength of Florida from the beginning of the year, because they bring most of their front court players back from last season, Thomas Houck and Alex Condon and Chinyalu and all those guys. But like I said, now we're laying 7 against an Oklahoma team that's 8-0 on their home floor here in Norman. It's a team that's probably in a circle the wagon spot. I think it's a reaction to Florida. 2 wins in a row against Georgia and Tennessee on the road where they've looked awesome. Double-digit wins. Oklahoma off 2 back-to-back blowout losses on the road to Mississippi State and Texas A&M. And I think people have gotten carried away, and they've just pushed this thing all the way up to -7, when I think Oklahoma +7 is great value. I really do in this spot. I mean, when you look at Florida, too, they're 0-2 in true road games. Let's not forget that. The only other time the Gators have been on the road in SEC play, they lost outright as a favorite to Missouri. A 7.5-point favorites at Mizzou. They lost 76-74. So I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk by any stretch of the imagination. Now, handling the size down low they are a little under some. Maybe that's part of it too. Can they handle the size of Florida in the paint? Or are they just going to pummel them on the glass here? Maybe there's some thought to that as to why Florida's taken so much money. But I think it's moved too far, and I'll still take Oklahoma in a really nice spot. You got your butt kicked in 2 straight games away from home. Now you come back home. You've played relatively solid basketball here at home all season. Let's not forget Oklahoma beat Ole Miss by 16 here. In their their one and only previous SEC conference home game. And they also beat Oklahoma State by 9 at home earlier this season. I like this. Now that we get 7, I like Oklahoma here. C-Mac, what do you think? Gators, Sooners.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of the numbers, the 2 losses, and the inconsistency of these 2 teams. What do we get? Talk about with Florida. Like if Pack, Davis, Reed, these guys have big games, and they're going to, of course, play big minutes.
Nigel Pack has to bring his shooting.
He's got to be good.
Stroke tonight.
Yeah, for sure. But what's one thing with Florida? Is it going to turn around the 3-point shooting? This is a team that can't shoot it. No. I mean, this is dreadful. What are they shooting from 3? They're 361, 27.9%. You got to think that gets better. I worry about in a game like this where Oklahoma's defense hasn't been great, where that shows up maybe a little bit. That just after all this, it's gonna start getting a little better. Is this team really this bad for 3? Holy shit. I got to think. I was on Missouri in that game. the 7.5, and they bounced back with 2 big home wins. It's just not easy to go on the road, cover numbers. So with me, it's Oklahoma or pass. Sure, in this game.
All right, we go to the Big 12. We've got Iowa State, Kansas. Iowa State 3-point road favorites, 151.5 the total in this game. So when I see spots like this, I always try to make a case first thing for the home dog, like I did with Seton Hall, like I've done with Oklahoma just now. And you would think I'd be liking Kansas here, but I don't. I watch Kansas. I do not like what I'm seeing at all from this Kansas Jayhawks team. The one win that they got recently, they were lucky as shit to get it as well, was the TCU game, where they gave up 100 points. They were fortunate to still win that 104-100, but they're not defending at all. They're not guarding anybody. They lost 81-75 at UCF. They came back from a big deficit to beat TCU, but barely, and they did not play well in spite of that win. And then they go to Morgantown, and West Virginia they're okay, but they're not great. And they lose by 11, trail wire to wire in that game against West Virginia. Here's where I'm at. I get loving your home dogs in these step-up spots, but Kansas is not playing good basketball, and nothing my eye test sees watching them tells me they're ready for Iowa State. And Iowa State is no fucking joke. And they've shown time and time and time again this year, they can go on the road, they can go on the highway, and they can beat good teams, and they can beat them by margin. Just ask Baylor recently. Just ask Purdue earlier in the season when Iowa State went there and beat their ass, beat them down. This is Cyclones or nothing. I don't want to step in front of Iowa State. They're the better team right now. I wouldn't be shocked if they get it done. I did lay the 3 with Iowa State here in this game. This is the one time where I don't mind taking them as road favorites. I think they're just the much better of it right now as far as these two teams. Kansas 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 games. And it wouldn't shock me here if Iowa State gets the job done. I like what I'm seeing. Other than I love Peterson here for Kansas, but there's too many other issues with this team. They're getting hammered at times on the glass. They're just not guarding well enough. And that's all concerning with what Iowa State's going to throw at you, because they can score outside, they can score inside, and how, I would expect too. Momcilovic is going to be a handful to deal with for this Kansas team down low. I don't think they got any answers, none, zero, no stopper for him, in my opinion, going into this game. Taman Lipsey, they've got Toure. There's a lot
Jefferson.
Like Jefferson. Yeah, they're a great loaded team, and they actually do play some defense. So like I said, I try to make a case here for these home dogs. This is the one I don't want any part of. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, you're hitting all those guys. I just think, this starting 5 for Iowa State's really, really good. And I think it's going to continue throughout the year. Conference play is always tough. One thing with Kansas, you talk about them, the lax defending. One thing with Peterson's this good, of course. But it's just sometimes we have a player that is just like the standing around on offense. It's like when I watch their games, it's like, what the fuck? They rely on him just too much.
And you're right. There's not enough ball movement. There's not enough other guys getting touches, in the half court.
Exactly. Yeah. One thing is, this could be a little as low as I would say. I'm just off this game. Is I think they come out here. Of course, I think the place will be rocking just after that bad loss. Coming here at home where they've been really good. Iowa State's won here though a few times in the last 20 years, 3 or 4 times I think.
Well, another thing I looked at too, there was one other home dog spot earlier this year Kansas had. They were a home dog earlier this year one previous time, and it was against UConn. Well, they lost and they didn't cover. They lost to UConn in that game by 5. I think it'll be competitive. I don't think Iowa State's going to blow them out, but I think Iowa State is going to win by, I say 8-10, something like that.
Well, yeah, this will be big. Can they go on the road, force Kansas a bunch of turnovers where they've been really, really good? Kansas needs to be better defensively. And this is we talked about bad Florida shooting. Iowa State's been, can they keep shooting the rock this well?
Yep.
From 2, they've been great. Inside, outside, 40% from 3. Hey, they've been money. What could go wrong? I like the under a little bit in this game. I was looking at this under.
People have hammered the over, and it's because of Kansas's defense. But are they at some point going to at some point going to be able to guard people? I'll say this: it's been an under trend with the last two last year. It was easy unders with these two teams head to head. Like we had 131 and we had 121. Like not even close to going over head to head with these two last year.
Yeah, just a big game. I think a little tighter everywhere. But if they keep just shooting rainy threes, the shit will fly over. Yeah, I lean the under here. Under.
Both teams are going to shoot from 40%. You're fucked with an under bet. Doesn't matter who it is. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
No doubt. All right, our last game for the starting five segment, Alabama, Mississippi State. Crimson Tide, 4.5-point road favorites, 174 the total. I mean, with this Alabama team, we saw obviously that's a problem, right? Against Texas and the loss to there's those games where you just cannot fully trust them at the defensive end of the basketball court. It's kind of constant with the Crimson Tide the last few years. It's great when they're raining threes, and it's great when they play some defense, but that's not always going to happen every single game. I actually did shoot well from three against Texas, but Texas was able to shoot 45%, 42% from distance. Jordan Pope went off in that game for 28 points for Texas in that game. I'm at the point with Alabama, and they've gone over now 2 straight, 3 of 4, 2 straight here in SEC play. The last time they were on the road in SEC play at Vandy, that game at 186 total points. I just gravitate to over now with Alabama. Screw the side. Just ignore it and just expect points. And even though their totals are always high, 174, in this case, what did we see? We saw 180 against Texas. We saw 186 total points against Vanderbilt. I think it probably still can get over this total when it's all said and done. We just saw Mississippi State defensively give up 92 to Kentucky. They gave up 98 to Texas in a previous conference game as well. So it's not like this team plays great defensively either. So I just like over 174. I have not much opinion on the side. I'd probably lean Bulldogs if I had to, but I don't know. I still think Alabama's better than Mississippi State, and off a loss at home, I don't know if I want to go up against and fade Alabama. That's why I'm not betting Mississippi State, but I do lean Bulldogs. I'm only touching the over here. C-Mac, what do you think here?
Yeah, I think it's tough, but back-to-back losses for Alabama. It's like laying points on the road. Yeah, they just got to push, pace, score.
Yep.
And with a team like Mississippi State, that could happen. Even with kind of the defensive lapses Alabama has, is they've struggled to score, inside and out. This team hasn't been great, and it showed in some of their games. They've been good at home. This one's tough for me. I think Alabama could go in there and win. I'm not going to lay the 4.5. I've been on Mississippi State I was on them against Oklahoma, just laying that number, played good at home. So I'm going to stay off here and wait. Your over might just get there, though.
I think so. I think it's a high 170s game, or touch it close to 180, something like that. That's kind of where I see it as far as the total points there in that game. All right, I'm going to go rapid fire through the games I like, the games we haven't talked about that I like. I'll give you a few. It's actually, I don't know what it is, but it's a home dog kind of night for me. Like I already mentioned, other than Kansas, I don't like Kansas, but I mentioned it earlier. I like Seton Hall. I like Oklahoma. I like Duquesne getting 4.5, 5 against Dayton. Dayton hasn't been dominant on the road. Last time they were on the road, they barely beat a meandering Loyola Chicago team. They actually should have lost that game. They trailed the whole game against Loyola Chicago on the road. I don't know. Dayton, to me, has not played dominant basketball for Ford. Plus, they lost early in the year on the road against Cincinnati. So, like I said, and Cincinnati's been a disappointment, quite honestly, of late. So, like I said, I think Duquesne makes that a game. They're off a couple of losses. They lost a competitive one at home to VCU just recently. I think Duquesne's worth a look there as a home dog against Dayton. Another home dog I like is I have to. They're not that good of a basketball team this year. They've struggled, but it's still the barn in Minnesota, and it's Wisconsin, who I flat out do not trust off the win against Michigan, handing the Wolverines their first loss of the season, and now going on. I don't trust them. I don't. They've been erratic enough, the Badgers, this year, that I could easily see the Minnesota tripping them up tonight here in this spot. Not to mention it's a second straight road game after knocking off Michigan at Chrysler Center in Ann Arbor. You got to play a second straight road game, and you counter that with Minnesota. This is their third straight home game. So it's the third straight game for Minnesota not having to travel. So big prep edge, in my opinion, here for the Golden Gophers as well in this game. And the one thing I will say about this Golden Gophers team, yeah, it's been erratic, and I know offensively it's been up and down for sure. Make no mistake about that. But I still believe in the coach. He's a good coach. Did a great job at Drake. Great job at Colorado State. Nico Medved. I think he'll have his guys ready to go here tonight. So I like Minnesota here to beat Wisconsin. With letdown spot waiting to happen, in my opinion, for the Badgers here tonight in that one. A couple more. Let me see what else. Oklahoma State. There's just two teams going in opposite directions. Baylor stinks right now. Baylor's bad. Baylor's just not very good at this point in time. Now, I know they faced a tough schedule. They have faced some good teams like Houston and Iowa State, but still not playing great basketball. Gallagher-Iba Arena is still a tough place. They're unbeaten there at home this year, Oklahoma State. I think they get Baylor tonight. I like just asking Oklahoma State to win on their home court against Baylor. I do like that as well. What else? How about a road dog? Georgetown. The Hoyas. I always like Ed Cooley as a dog. Give me 8.5 there, I think, with the Hoyas. Creighton, when they're on offensively, they can win by double digits. When they're off, they can be in a dogfight. They can be in a battle. There's a lot of variance in their results so far this season. I think Georgetown can do enough, I think, to hang around in that game. UIC against Northern Iowa. UIC's been a nice little point spread team for me lately. I took them on the weekend, too, against Illinois State, and they covered wire to wire in that game against Illinois State. I like what I'm seeing from that Flames team. UIC, I think, +7 can hang in Cedar Falls there against Northern Iowa. And then late in the late night hours, let's go right to CMAC's backyard and take those UNLV Rebels. Another home dog. +3. Actually, I got 3.5, and the 3.5s aren't there anymore. I see mostly 2.5, 3 now. Boise's another team that's not playing good basketball. I'll tell you what got Boise off their game. They played that crazy game, and it was a crazy game. It was a marathon, like triple overtime affair against San Diego State. They lost in just gut-wrenching fashion, and it's almost like that was a knockout blow to Boise because in 2 games since then, blown out by Grand Canyon on their home floor, blown out wire to wire by Utah State as well in their last game. Like, they have not responded since that just crazy game against San Diego State that they lost in multiple overtimes. I'm not trusting Boise on the road right now as a road favorite. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. UNLV's back home after 2 road losses at Wyoming and at Colorado State. I actually thought, given the flu bug situation with UNLV, they competed pretty well against Colorado State. That was not an easy game for the Rams. They hung in it, ultimately lost by 8. I think now back home at Thomas and Mack, I think you get a great effort here from UNLV in this spot. I'm still not a big Pastner guy, I got to admit. He drives me nuts sometimes on the sideline watching him act. But nevertheless, I think it's a nice little spot here for UNLV. And I just don't like what I'm seeing out of Boise. They look like that San Diego State game just crushed their psyche. How do you explain? Like, Grand Canyon, good team. Utah State, really good team. Utah State could win the Mountain West. They're a really good team. You shouldn't be blown out like that in both of those games if you're Boise State. But they were. And now they're laying points on the road. I don't trust them. Give me UNLV. There you go. All right, C-Mac, floor's yours. What are you liking?
Let's go right to the UNLV Boise game. If Carmichael and Buchanan don't play, I think that's been a problem these last couple, and they're both dealing with injuries back. There's a problem. I don't know how they score. This total's moved up. I think it's just UNLV is going to have a lot better shooting night, maybe at home. But this team's not very good. No. This team doesn't shoot it well. They're horrible from the free throw line. Boise's horrible. Yeah. So there's just no defense going to be played here. I'm shocked a little bit by this move. I'm tempted now with this under here at 149.5.
Well, you're getting a great number. I mean, if you like it, you should.
Yeah. Well, that's
a great number. Yeah.
Tell me about it. I've been thinking about it because I watch these teams all the time.
If you wanted the over now, I would tell you, hey, pump the brakes now. 5 points, ass end of it. You don't want that.
That game too, the offense went cold just the last 5 minutes against Colorado State.
Yep.
He's out. I mean, they were right there winning the game and then just kind of folded. Just couldn't make any shots. So being at home is better. And Boise's really own the Rebels, but just with those problems we talked about, I don't know where the scoring comes from Boise State. I think they really got to slow it down, but I got to wait on a little bit on what's going on with these guys. I don't think they play, but maybe they do. I agree with Georgetown. Creighton's at home the spot, and I just think there's still just problems with them a little bit, and maybe this is the home spot where they could play well and get going, but I got to see more of it. I think Georgetown can hang within that 8.5. You talked about Minnesota. I looked at them a bunch, playing pretty good basketball. I had them last week. This is a line that's moved up. I think if you like, Wisconsin's playing a lot quicker. Their games have gone over. This line's moved up on the total. But I think if you like Minnesota, you would have to look under. I mean, they play defense. They want to slow things down. But maybe they were able to create enough shots, easy shots, that it gets over. But I was looking at that, Minnesota, and under there. That was about it. Fresno State. I'm looking at them a little bit late tonight. I think they can, hang. Colorado State has done well enough at home. I still think they have issues. I'm not the biggest Fresno State guy, but I think at 4.5, everyone here loves Colorado State. This has gone, open 5.5 down to 4.5. Don't know if it really drops more, but I think Fresno is live there, plus 4.5. I think that was about it for me. You want to answer these questions?
Yeah, we got some.
I'll hit them real quick. Buffalo, I take them.
I mean,
it's tough. Yeah.
I'm with you there.
Of course, with the defense, but catching those points, a couple, I think they can win at home. The other game is too tough. I lean Toledo, high total. I even think he could get there.
I like over in that game.
The over 160.
There's a few games in the MAC I like overs with. I like that over. I like the UMass Western Michigan could go over the total, in my opinion. There should be points in that game. It's always the same with Frank Martin's team. They can score when they're on, and defensively it comes and goes. It comes and goes for the Minutemen as far as that end of the court goes. So, same thing with Central and Miami O. I think that one could be a high scoring. Miami O is a good offensive team, man. Did you see what they did Friday night in Toledo? Yeah. Holy shit. In Toledo. Holy Toledo. I mean, they just shredded Toledo's defense in that game. Now, Toledo's never been a great defensive team, but holy mackerel, Miami can flat out score the basketball. And they sure did in that game.
Yeah, definitely. All right, what do we think here? Shout out to our guy, Nick. I remember always question for him. I did appreciate it.
I have not bet this yet, but I'm leaning hard Oregon, and I might get there with Oregon here.
You think the line's just gone too far?
I think it has.
Like with Nebraska?
Nebraska as home favorites against Michigan State. They only won by 2. They're coming off 2 real big road. They look good, Nebraska. Let's not kid ourselves. 16-0, they look great. Hoiberg's doing a great job. They're playing some defense too. Finally, Nebraska.
Oh, I know.
The best defensive team they've had, and I think all these years. And they're coming off 2 great road wins: Ohio State, Indiana, Assembly Hall outright as dogs. I think this could be an exhale spot for the Cornhuskers here. And the only concern is these teams, whether it's going west to east or east to west in the Big Ten, they have had their problems covering consistently.
I can't figure Oregon out, really.
Yeah. And Oregon off of that real disappointing loss at home to Ohio State. I get it. It's hard to – I lean Oregon. It's the only side I would take, plus the points. But part of me says, Ian, wait until late February, mid to late February into March. That's always when – Dana Altman and that Oregon team, they turn it up, they get on a heater, and that's when you want to be riding them every game. Early or mid to late February, because every year it seems like that's when they catch fire. That's when they get on a roll, right into the conference tournament and somehow get into the NCAA tournament. It's been like 5, 6, 7 years running. That's been Oregon's season pattern over the years. Yeah. I lean Oregon, though. I do.
Shellsad's still out too. I mean, he's not coming back.
No.
Yeah, that one's tough. I mean, their books now doing it here. I mean, you think if they were on this run, this would be what?
Yeah.
6.5.
Problem is, the more I watch Oregon, the more I think they've only got one good player on this team, and of course, that's the big man, Nate Biddle. Yeah.
Right now. Yeah, that one. Man, Nebraska's made me just money taking them. And I haven't faded them yet. I want to on the road in these games. I'm going to wait a little bit, but they've only won for me covered, so I'm like, I'll be good. I'll stay off here. Maybe they get their team total if you're worried about it here. I mean, Oregon, I don't know what to make. Like, they play Maryland. I think they won that game, if I remember.
Yep.
Kind of low scoring, but I still don't think they're great defensively.
Yep.
And it's shown, in certain spots during the year. So maybe Nebraska, if you're a little leery, just take the team total. I mean, if you think you worry a little bit about the 10 here.
Yeah, I lean Providence, the game that's earlier at 6:30, but like I said, it doesn't feel like it's coming together for the Friars. It just doesn't. It is coming together for Villanova. I'll say that. Villanova is really starting to play well. 6 wins in their last 7 games. The only loss was a 4-point loss against Creighton. So I lean Providence as a home dog in that building. I'm always leaning that way, but I don't know. The more I watch, the more Loyola Chicago is a lean for me, but I don't want to go against Georgia. Here's the thing with Loyola Chicago. Can you tell me that Justin Moore is playing? Because without that guy, they fall apart. They really are a one-man team, honestly. Every time he's been out, and that's their leading scorer, every time he's been out, they've sucked and they've gotten blown out. I know because I took them against Davidson, and the last minute they rule that guy out, Justin Moore, I should say, for Loyola, and they can't score without him. They got blown out by a mediocre, and I mean mediocre Davidson team, because Davidson just turned around and they get beaten by Rhode Island over the weekend. Then they get blown out by double digits. Yeah, Loyola Chicago lost to that Davidson team by 15 at home when Moore didn't play for them. So that's what that's what this whole thing boils down to. You can tell me Justin Moore's going to play. Yeah, maybe I'm interested in Loyola Chicago. If he's not in, forget it. No chance. No chance I can beat the Ramblers without him.
They even got a few other guys. I mean, he's the main guy, but some other guys out.
Too. Oh, yeah. I'm looking at it right now. It ain't just him, but he is the most important. He's the straw that stirs the drink. He's their leading scorer, and he's out. It's official. He won't play tonight. That's why the money's poured back in on George Mason, all the way up to 10.5. So, yeah, no chance. Loyola Chicago. Amos, Dotson, Richardson, others questionable as well. So, yeah, I'm not interested in Loyola with these injuries.
Excellent. Anything else? Any other games? I think we hit a lot of them. Hit us right now. Whoever holds your peace.
Now or forever hold your peace, because we're going to best bets, and we're going to shut this thing down here in a minute. But Maryland over. That's what I like. Rather than trust Maryland on the road, rather than lay that many with USC, which I don't really trust either, I expect points. I think USC didn't really shoot well on the road, but they're a better offensive team than that. They get back to the friendly confines there. The Galen Center, I think the shots will fall. Maryland's a sketchy defensive team, and USC is going to play fast. That's what they. So I kind of like over more than a side there. Maryland, USC.
What about this late game? I mean, I don't have really anything on it. St. Mary's, San Francisco.
I don't like betting against San Fran, the Dons, as a home dog. I could see that being close. We'll see. But at St. Mary's, really good team again this year, no question about that. But you look at them on the road. They did fail to cover at Loyola and lost to Boise. They did pummel Pepperdine, but San Francisco is a little bit better than Pepperdine, and they did not play great in their last game against Washington State, especially defensively. Very uncharacteristic of St. Mary's, giving up 82 points. But San Francisco at home here, 7-1 on the season. San Francisco beat them last year in this building too. Let's not forget that, 65-64. So that's home dog or pass for me. San Francisco lean.
Yeah, I lean that way. I lean under. I mean, after these overs, San Francisco doesn't want to get up and down. I
think St. Mary's and Bennett wants to clean up the defense. I don't think they're happy with 82 points given up to Washington State, even though they won that game.
Yeah, that's how I felt in that game.
Louisville at home. I did. I did bet Louisville. Small. 3.5. I laid it with Louisville there. Anything there, Virginia, Louisville?
I kind of like Louisville too. I think the spot's good. Or, I don't know how great they are defensively. I was looking at Virginia's team total under in that game. It's 76.5.
Louisville wants to. They can guard. They can defend. Yeah.
They can at home.
Yeah.
Usually this is where they come up big. I thought that was a little bit high there. And Louisville's is what, 79.5, I think, right?
Yes, it is.
Checking this right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at in that game. Not only Louisville, but, if Virginia scores 77, they're maybe in that game. Like, I just don't think they get there offensively. But, yeah, I was leaning that way.
All right, good stuff. All right, thank you. Appreciate the questions. Good stuff. Appreciate it very much. Thanks to the members of the channel. We'll be back with members of the channel. We'll be back with you tomorrow for a members-only show. Members-only Hitting the Book show tomorrow, Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And we'll not just hit college basketball, but NBA, NHL, the other sports as well. And then Friday, members-only Hitting the Book show as well at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. So if you're not a member of the channel already, make sure you become one. And you can join us for our members-only shows Wednesdays and Fridays every week at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. All right, C-Mac, time to get on out of here. Best bets. What do you got?
Yeah, shout out to all the members. And check us out Monday, national championship game. We'll cover it from every angle.
High total, players, props, you name it. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Join us then. I ate it out. I got the 7. I think 6.5 is fine. I lean under in the game. Seton Hall, best bet.
All right. Arr, Pirates.
Yeah, Pirates.
Seton Hall. +7 against UConn for Connor Mack with his best bet. My best bet, there's some tough choices. There's a lot of good ones out there. I just don't Wisconsin just to me looks like one of those teams that they've been so up and down that they win against Michigan, they lose tonight against Minnesota. Minnesota off a tough loss in their last. Remember, Minnesota beat Iowa at home. And I think if you can beat Iowa at home, you can beat Wisconsin at home. I like the +2 with Minnesota. The Gophers, letdown spot for the Badgers, and I don't trust them to withstand prosperity of handing Michigan their first loss of the season. So let's go Minnesota. Golden Gophers, +2 against Wisconsin for my best bet for this Tuesday night. All right, great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. And again, we've got a great week coming up. Members only shows Wednesday and Friday. Make sure and on Friday's show in particular, NFL divisional playoff preview coming up on Friday's show. So make sure you don't miss that one.
Yeah,
we'll
NFL,
go through all
crazy
4
week.
divisional games this weekend. Looking forward to that for sure. Great stuff. Hit the like button on the way out. For Connor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Enjoy the games and good luck. Cash some tickets tonight on this Tuesday night in college basketball. And we'll see you again tomorrow on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific for a members-only edition of the Hitting the Book show. Until then, class dismissed.
Peace.